bringing you the latest news from Coronado Athletics. This is the Mustang Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. It's Tuesday night. This is the High School Fan Zone. You heard the promo right there. I want to throw that out there, that the archive shows for this and anything on the Raymar networks can be found on the the sports networks, can be found on the High School Fan Zone page at TTSportsNetwork.com. And don't forget to download the 100.7 The Score mobile app to listen live or to listen to podcasts of all of these shows on High School Fan Zone. We do 8 of these a week. Monday nights, Estacado Memorial and Liberty are here from 6 to 7:30. Tuesday nights, like tonight, Monterey and Coronado are here from 6 to 7. Wednesday nights, Lubbock High, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper fill up the airwaves 6 to 7:30 p.m. And a reminder, on Friday nights, 6 to 6:30 p.m. on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score. You can listen to the West Texas Friday Night Preview. And then 9:30 to midnight, same two stations carry the West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard. That's a lot of good information comes out of those. I'm with Andrew Roy, Coronado coach. When you're on road trips, do you listen into those to see how future opponents have done, or previous opponents?
Always. I'm always trying to get in and see what everybody's doing and see what the scores are and how everybody's faring at certain times, even halftime. I listen in, so go in and try to peek and so see what's going on.
Before we jump into talking about the Coronado Mustangs football team, I want to throw this out there. We're doing a new little feature this year that we're going to have the High School Fan Zone Girls and Boys Player of the Week. And I saved this for this segment because the Girls Player of the Week this week is Mallory Holdman from Coronado. She had a big week the Lady Mustangs had a big week. They beat Lubbock Cooper for the first time since 2018, and then weren't flat, came out and beat Paladuro to I think get to 3-1 or 4-1 in district.
Yeah.
Mallory in those two matches had 39 assists, 17 digs, and 6 aces. She's a fun player to watch. Her mom is a PE teacher extraordinaire at my wife's school, and Candy's got those girls playing.
Man, it's been fun to watch. My daughter's a freshman, playing freshman volleyball, and so getting to see those guys, and man, the varsity girls have been tremendous to watch. Like, gosh, just everything they're doing right now is absolutely amazing, and we're glad to be a part of it. And
that district, we'll talk about this all season long in every sport, but in volleyball in particular, that district is a grinder now.
It's tough, man. They had Amarillo. We started off with Monterey, which is a rivalry, and we go over there, pull out a win over there at their house. And then we get Amarillo at home, and they're always good. They're really competitive. And then you go Lubbock Cooper, and then we get a big win at their place. Man, we're rolling. So I think we're 3-1 in district.
You're right.
Playing tonight, so it's a good season right now for the Lady Mustangs.
Well, I believe they're playing Friendship in a non-district match tonight, and then they jump back into district on Friday up at Plainview. So, volleyball's, you were a baseball guy when you were younger. Volleyball's a little bit more like that, where you have to, football, you kind of lick your wounds and start working towards the. Not in volleyball. You got to get up and go.
You got to get ready and go.
I'm happy for Candy. She's if there's a more positive, optimistic person in this world, I don't know that I've met him.
Yeah, she's a great one. She's doing a great job with those girls.
Well, let's talk about your guys last week. Lost 49-14 to Lubbock Cooper in a game that was scoreless after the first quarter, and then Pirates made some plays on special teams. You guys struggled a little bit, and they jumped on you in the second quarter. But I liked your quote to my man George Watson afterwards. Your guys didn't stop playing hard.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Sometimes the scoreboard matters. I mean, nobody plays sports at that level for it to not matter. But to see your guys keep fighting, what's that tell you about them here early in the season?
They have some grit to them. You know what I mean? They bow their necks and they get after it. Some things just didn't go our way, and that's second week in a row, and it gets frustrating, not only as coaches but for players, and so you kind of got to reel them in and see where their head's at. We gave up 2 special teams touchdown another on offense, pick six, and so the defense thought they played fairly well. Thought one touchdown was suspect, and then the other, we kind of gave up one, but they played pretty well. You know what I mean? And so we're just trying to figure ourselves out and see where we're at and get back to the basics.
And it doesn't surprise me that your defense is holding up, because that's where you have some guys back. You lost some dudes, but offense is where you've got a lot of guys who are still getting used to being varsity football players and understanding that each play you have to kind of forget about it and move on to the next one.
Yeah, so, we have Campbell Stanek back on offense, which he was one of our best players last year on offense. But outside of him, everybody else is fairly new. And so we're still trying to learn the quarterback position, and he's still trying to get comfortable, and our O-line is still trying to get comfortable with pass blocking and stuff like that. But, man, we fully trust those guys and everybody that we have in there. So we feel like we're going to be all right.
What are some things that you, besides playing hard and not waving a white flag the other night, what are some things you liked about what you did against Lubbock? Let me backtrack. A very good Lubbock Cooper team, better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, no, they're very good. Chip has those guys rolling as usual. They're always successful and do a good job. But we felt like we missed some things. We had some trick plays there early. We dropped the ball. Cam dropped the ball on like first and long, and it could have been like a 40-yard gain. Campbell Stanek dropped the open ball, and that is totally unlike him. So, when things like that are going wrong for you, you're like, what the heck's going on? So, we had some miscues that are totally not like us, and so those are things that we go back and like, what the heck's going on? Like, we have to execute, and that's one of those things that we value is execution. So we went back to the drawing board, and we want to execute.
Coronado goes down to Abilene to take on Abilene Wylie, 7 p.m. Friday. That is on 96.9 The Bull. This is 100.7 The Score, and this is the High School Fan Zone. We'll be back after this break.
Diving headfirst into Coronado athletics. You're listening to the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back to the Mustang Fan Zone on Tuesday night. This is 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. I'm going to run through this week's football schedule. I don't think we have any Saturday games, so I can't say weekend. There's a pretty good college football game here in town when Oregon State rolls up to Jones Stadium. In high school football, Thursday night, Lubbock High has the game at Lowry Field against Snyder. That's the HubCityPreps.com game of the week. Those two teams are both 0-2, but have both kind of had some moments. You know a little bit about Snyder and how tough those guys can be.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
How many years did you spend there?
I spent 10 years there.
So you got some girls at home that probably had some Snyder Tiger gear growing up, I would guess.
Heck yeah, I still have some Snyder Tiger gear in the closet.
So. There you go. That's the Thursday night game out at Lowry Field. Friday night, Friendships at home for the first time this season. They're against Wichita Falls Legacy. That's a team that Andrew got to know up close and personal in the season opener. That's 7 p.m. That's on Double T 97.3 FM. The Mustangs go down the road to Abilene Wylie, 7 p.m. at Sandifer Stadium. That is on 96.9 The Bull. Lubbock Cooper is at home against Tascosa. That's right here on 100.7 The Score. Monterey takes that long road trip to El Paso Franklin, 7 p.m. our time, Central Time. That will be on 93.7 The Eagle. Estacado is at home at Lowry Field on Friday night against West Plains. Matadors had an incredible win, an incredible finish the other night, and their reward is the number 2 team in 4A, West Plains Wolves. But I have a feeling the Matadors will come out fighting. Liberty is at home for the third week in a row. They play Monahans. That will be on 93.1 Young Country. Patriots are really good. I saw them the other night. They're big, they're experienced, and they've got a team on a mission this year after some close calls last year. Trinity Christian is at home for the first time against Denver City at Warwick Memorial Stadium. Lubbock Christian's at home in a real interesting game. They play Stanford, coached by former Monterey coach Wayne Hutchison, state runner-up last year, I believe, state champion the year before. That sets up as a pretty interesting game over at Mass Rider Capitol Field. Levelland's at home against Idalou at 7 p.m. Plainview's at Hereford at 7 p.m. In six-man football, Christ the King goes down to Midland to take on Midland TLCA at 7 p.m. Kingdom Prep makes the road trip to Wichita Falls to take on Wichita Christian at 7:30. I mentioned you guys are going to Abilene Wylie. You know that facility and the atmosphere there pretty well. Is this the first time Coronado's been there in a while, or have you guys? No, were they a district team not long ago?
No, this is the first time. This is the first time we've been there to play against those guys. We played a playoff game there a few years ago.
Yes, I remember that.
But yeah, no, this is our first time going there to play those guys. It'll be a different atmosphere for our guys. They'll have a big crowd. It's it's Abilene Wylie and at their home stadium. It'll be a good atmosphere. So
you're an Abilene guy. When you were growing up, was you standing for a bit of a legend there in the Key City?
Shoot, when I was growing up, he was still a young guy. I think he might have been the head baseball coach and head football coach when I was.
They were a small school.
Yeah, they were really small when I was growing up. So they blew up pretty fast, and a lot of those guys have been there for a long time. When I was in Snyder, I think my last year at Snyder, probably 12 guys on that staff had been there for 20 years plus. And so the head coach has been there for 30 years. He was the head baseball coach for a long time. And he's been there for a while. So they have a great staff, great community, everything about them. It's just like last week, Lubbock Cooper's group. Same thing with Wylie. They're gonna come out and give you everything they got.
I was telling you before we came on, Monterey didn't do you any favors because they beat them not only beat them, but it was a great game, and it went right down to the wire. So I don't know, you may not have to send Jason Sims a Christmas card after that.
Yeah, they're going to be fired up, and they're going to be ready to get back in the win column, but we're going to give them everything we got.
I would guess that your guys are going to be fired up.
Yeah.
And kind of along those lines, when you got them back together, you had them Saturday morning to kind of work out the kinks. Monday morning, what was it like with your guys? What did you see that you liked?
They came out. We had to get on them, a little bit and get them fired up. But they're ready to go. I thought we had a great practice today. Have some guys that are ready to go. Our seniors are fired up to get back in the win column, and they're looking for that first one. So it's been fun. Monday, Tuesday, got it out the way, and tomorrow we'll polish it up and get ready to go.
One thing that I love about covering high school sports is those kids understand they don't get to keep coming back for 6 or 7 years. They only get 4. So we're coming up on a break. We'll have one more segment with Andrew Roy talking Coronado football in the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Coronado sports. This is the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back into the final segment of the High School Fan Zone this Tuesday night. It's the Mustang Fan Zone. Tuesday nights are Monterey and Coronado, 6 to 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, will be Lubbock High, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Mondays are Estacado, Memorial, and Liberty from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Andrew, I mentioned you're an Abilene guy. You know that it's not like with Lubbock and Amarillo, there's kind of a built-in natural rivalry whenever you play a team. There's maybe not as much as that. But you're an Abilene guy. You would like nothing better to take your team down there to beat Abilene Wylie for a lot of reasons. What's it going to take? Is there a magic formula, or is it just clean some things up?
Yeah, they're well coached. We can't beat ourselves. They're going to come to play, and we got to do everything right. So everything that we haven't done the last 2 weeks, we have to do this week because this is going to be a well-coached football team as usual. Coach Clay Martin does a great job, and he's been there for years, since I can remember back when I was in Snyder starting out coaching. He's been the DC and head baseball coach, and now he's the head football coach there, and he does a great job. So we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's, man. Everything that like I said, that we didn't do the first 2 weeks, we have to do this week.
You may be coaching against his son. Sooner or later, his son is the offensive coordinator over at Memorial. See, that's how I start to connect all these things. I start to feel old when I see sons and shoot, even grandsons. When Lewis Kelly III was still with you guys at Coronado, right?
Yeah.
When I got here, I was like, wait, it's his grandson. So, but I said this off the air. You're not as old as you think, because you were still in high school when I got to Lubbock working for the AJ. So you're still much younger to me. So, although you need to get a win, or that gray hair will start popping up a little bit more.
Man. I know
between
it.
that and having daughters. We've talked about the daughters thing before. That's God's testing you enough there. So,
man, I'm surviving. I'm surviving.
You are, because your baby is a freshman, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You got three more.
Last one.
You mentioned that there are things you need to do better, but you guys have done some good things. So let's kind of finish on that note. What are some things you've liked about this team so far through 2 games?
Some guys that have stood out. We've been without our first running back. Our starting running back, and our backup Darian Brooks has stepped up and done a great job. We had another running back step up last week, Zavondrick Stevenson,
yes,
and he stepped in and did a great job coming in. But our junior safety, Isaiah Doss, man, he's been playing amazing, coming down and tackling, and he had an interception last week. But he's been phenomenal in the back end, just communicating and running that defense. He's been really fun to watch.
You're a defensive coach, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess you'd like your safety to make less tackles as things go on here.
Yeah, but he's been one that he's been triggering. He's seeing it, and he's coming down and he's making tackles in the box. So it's been not necessarily tackles that are broken and running backs are breaking free and he's making tackles. He's coming down, he's triggering, he's making some plays. So it's been fun to watch.
I'll say this again. An Andrew Roy coach team is going to play some defense. From the day he got here with DJ Mann, that's one thing I saw, that there's a little bit of a difference in attitude, scheme, fundamentals. Your guys are going to play some defense.
Yeah, we're going to try to fly around and play fast and physical, and that's kind of the mentality we want to have. But we're still getting there, and I think our guys are up for the challenge, and they're pretty much doing it.
We're just 2 weeks in. The Mustangs are 0-2. I think it was Bill Parcells who said, "You are what your record says you are."
Yeah.
So you have to own the 0-2, but I don't feel like they're a bad 0-2. And I don't know if there's such a thing as a good 0-2. We'll see what Wanrod says tomorrow night, because I think they're a little bit different. They're more offensive minded. They're doing good things on offense. But how do you make sure, we're coming up on the end here, but you said that practice was good today. As still a fairly new head coach, how do you make sure that energy, that attitude stays where you want it to be?
We've been grinding this week on offense, man, and we're trying to push our guys and trying to get the momentum going, the intensity going, get some enthusiasm going about us, trying to get our guys just lined up and ready to go. I think we have a great offensive line. I think we're big and we could be really great, but we're just miscuing at a couple points. And I think once we get it fixed, man, we're going to be really good. So we're excited, man. 0-2 doesn't mean anything to us right now. You know what I mean?
We're got a long road ahead.
Yeah, we still have a long road ahead. Like I told you last week, we started 0-3 the year we won district, and that's what we're pushing for. So
I don't think your guys knew that. I think you surprised them a little bit. So that's going to wrap us up in the High School Fan Zone on this Tuesday night. We'll be back tomorrow night. Mustangs play at Abilene Wylie, 7 p.m. Friday on 96.9 The Bull. This is Randy Rosetta, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night.